Hey there, Internet. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, actually, here. Again, we're in Paris. Paris, not Texas, as they like to call it most places. Um, so, just got out of class, had a pretty good day, and kicking around a couple things in my head that I would love your input on, sort of feedback. Um, So the first thing is sort of around the idea of trying things and just doing things, to pushing out product, or in this case videos, and sort of like creating things in the world, even though you know that they might suck, in fact that they probably do suck. Building off of that, sort of the idea around, I don't know if it was Reid Hoffman or YC who sort of coined it, someone else potentially. But there was this idea that, if you are not embarrassed by what you put out into the world before you show your potential users, then you probably waited too long. Incycle. So there's something going on in the street. Just wanted to be cautious. But the idea is that it can be super difficult to put something out in the world knowing that you might be critiqued. But by waiting any material amount of time, you may be reducing the probability of it succeeding, just in that you're not going to get feedback, and you may be working on something that doesn't matter, doesn't work, that users don't want. I think sort of these videos, at least in my mind, are a good example of that, and the personal struggle that might come with that. In that, we're trying to still sort out what types of topics we want to talk about during the project or through the project. Kind of what are the video formats, or whether or not these like walking in the streets of Paris videos are useful or interesting to you. Whether or not the quality of sound matters, right? Because we're on Apple headphones, not to do product placement of Apple, but I happen to have an iPhone, and so I might get some hate messages, hate comments off of that. But you had to choose one side. I'm just happen to choose Apple. I don't really have a strong preference at the moment for Apple, but in any case, we have these just like out of the box headphones. I've noticed in the last few videos that there's this like whacking effect as I walk. That's like whack, whack, whack. This is kind of annoying, but I wonder if the value of the words or the ideas, let's just say authenticity or, genuine nature of these videos might overcome the clear lacking of quality and execution in the videos. Because we don't want to go buy a bunch of equipment and try a new style if no one's going to watch the videos anyway. It doesn't really matter if you have shitty sound. So first thing is like just the concept of, if you're not embarrassed before you put something into the world, you've probably waited too long. That's something I struggle with immensely, and I'm sort of using this project as sort of a testing ground for that idea. The other idea is that I've just been thinking a lot about what I'm afraid of and why I've been so hesitant to do things. For example, I've been wanting to learn to code for a couple of years, or 3 years. Maybe I've been curious about it for 3 years. Before that, I thought it wasn't even a possibility, which is kind of a dumb or frustrating in and of itself, and sort of one of perhaps the genesises of this project is that like we as humans might have these false beliefs. Some of the false beliefs can be really prohibitive. Having the belief that let me just speak from personal experience, that I couldn't learn to code, that you had to be really good at math, that you had to be way more intelligent than I felt or am, was counterproductive towards figuring out whether or not I could program, and sort of trying to pursue the meaning or the value that I might want in life. Anyway, so there's these limiting beliefs, and I've just sort of been wondering and thinking a lot about why I might have these limiting beliefs, what am I afraid of? Why am I to be afraid of these things? Also, I've been thinking about why I say so much. I'm thinking of doing an counter, which I think would be really cool and kind of funny. Tongue-in-cheek at myself, which maybe won't be that funny, but it was funny in my head. Coming back to this, it's like, okay, what am I afraid of? Why am I afraid of that? One of the things that I've traditionally been really stressed about is finances. Whether or not that's a relevant thing for me to worry about, I'm not actually sure. And that I had a pretty comfortable life growing up, but you can always want more. I was lucky in a lot of ways, but anyway, I'm just faffing. But the thing that I've been thinking a lot about fear is like, what kind of life do I want to live? Do I want to live a life where I used to live, where I'm making a silly amount of money, doing a job I really, really dislike, in a firm whose culture is incredibly divergent from the way that I see the world? Or, do I want to technically be not employed in any capacity in a material way, not getting regular paychecks or really any material paychecks for a while, and just dive deeply into learning and play around with producing stuff and learn to code and try to help others learn to code and make random videos that maybe we post on the internet. The other sort of thing that I've been thinking about why it's taken me so long to start considering this in any serious capacity is the idea of living abroad again. So I used to live in Boston, and technically I think I might still live in Boston. But for the last month, I've been living in Paris, studying coding. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to spend a little stint in Santiago, Chile. I've never been to South America. It'll be really awesome. Want to level up on my Spanish, get from no Spanish to some Spanish. I've had a similar amount of money in the bank for a while. I have a little bit of a cushion, but I've just been so hesitant to spend that money and to pursue the kind of life that I want, where I'm spending 3 to 6 months abroad, trying to produce and help find problems, or trying to produce content and help find problems that people want to work on and solve together. I've had this idea for a while, and it's just been something that I've avoided, probably because it's scary, probably because it's hard. So that's the other thing. What are we afraid of? Why are we afraid of it? Specific to my case, why do I have my fears versus others? And why has it been so difficult for me about thinking about, rejecting a job that pays really, really well, but has a terrible quality of life, terrible lifestyle, and it, perhaps most importantly, is incredibly divergent from my own value system. And then, even when I left my job, I stayed in Boston for perhaps too long. So I've been thinking about that. All right, so please do give us feedback if... Whoa! Sorry, that was intense. At least it looked intense. But please do give us feedback if, say, the quality of sound is not worth it for you, or if there's too much rambling. We do want to do sort of more structured videos, but for now, we're just trying to work on producing content sort of generally around thinking and learning to code, and we'll get a little more structured, a little more rigorous and methodical about that, at least with some additional series, hopefully in the near future. So I hope you have a fabulous Tuesday. When you're watching this, it might not be Tuesday, so no matter what day of the week it is, I hope you're having a great day. If you're not, there's always tomorrow. Unless there's Armageddon, then, or Legageddon, or really any body part again. Okay, that was a bad joke. On that note, with a failed joke, I'm just gonna bounce, but catch you later. Thanks for watching. Cheers.